soon to be Cloud Flex storage. So if anyone has any questions on those, please reach out to me afterwards. But today we're just going to be talking about VMware Cloud Disaster Recovery. So let me share my screen. Okay. 2 seconds. Okay, can you see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Perfect. Okay. So today we're going to mostly talk about the challenges and how to fix those with our VCDR solution. So the first challenge that we see with VCDR, or just with our customers' environments, is complexity, right? The multi-vendor approach is extremely cumbersome and it takes a lot to implement and manage, right? So bringing multiple product interfaces and consoles to implement, manage, and operate, it lacks integration and increases the operational complexity of the entire combined solution. So complexity is, to be honest, one of our biggest challenges that we're seeing with current DR solutions right now. The second is cost. If you've been in this industry for a while, you know that this is typically the most expensive part of a solution in someone's environment. So traditional on-premise solutions, especially, whether that's a secondary data center or the use of a colo facility, they're extremely expensive to implement and maintain. And then the purchasing of additional hardware required to implement that secondary location, combined with the servers and storage and networking, that amplifies the investment required to implement that solution. And then all the while hoping that you don't actually have to utilize that resource, right? So we like to think of it like car insurance. You have to pay for it, but hopefully you never get into an accident and have to use it. And then the third challenge we have is predictability. So we know from industry data that only 17% of customers are actively testing their disaster recovery implementations and plans. That's money being spent on something that customers don't even know if it's going to function properly or not when the time comes. And then we add to that the use of multiple vendor products, or even potentially something that's been developed in-house that lacks the appropriate testing and validation of the solution, and that increases the lack of confidence organizations have in the disaster recovery strategy, right? So the limited testing and verification, we want to make sure that our disaster recovery is predictable. Bring in our VMware Cloud Disaster Recovery solution. So VMware Cloud Disaster Recovery is an on-demand disaster recovery solution delivered as an easy-to-use SaaS solution with cloud economics. It combines a cost-efficient cloud storage with simple SaaS-based management to deliver IT resiliency at scale through simple testing and orchestration of failover and failback plans. Our customers benefit from a pay-when-you-need failover capacity model for DR resources while strengthening the business resilience in the face of data loss threats such as ransomware. We're going to touch on ransomware, but just so you're aware, ransomware is our biggest use case. And we actually have a pretty good solution that we're doing with Carbon Black now. We can touch on that later, but just for you to know and be aware of, ransomware is our biggest push right now. Okay, so this is what we call the pillars of value for our VCDR solution, the value wheel. So first and foremost, we have DR services. The design help is available through VMware Professional Services, and you, our VMware partners, offer DR design and planning services. We say it's DR ready in 5 days, so there's no more waiting weeks or months for disaster recovery protection. With the SaaS, there's no DR software or storage to deploy, and then with VMware Cloud on AWS, we have the failover capacity. The next one we like to always bring up is that you're already utilizing existing VMware skills. So there's no need to have to go learn a whole management set of tools during a crisis situation. The DR site runs fully on the VMware stack. Next is the on-demand disaster recovery as a solution, innovative design. We have rapid recovery with low TCO. The SaaS solution is delivered by VMware DR experts, and we are supported in 16 global regions. And then last is rapid recovery, which is key for ransomware. We have the instant power on VMs or the pilot light option. So as you can see, our big push is you can get DR protection in as little as 5 days with a 60% lower TCO. Okay, here's the nitty-gritty of the actual solution. Oops, let me go back. Okay, so as you can see, this is the setup of how VCDR works, right? So we have our production site that has our VMs in it with our DRAS connector that replicates over to the cloud-based services with the SaaS orchestrator and then the scale-out file system. From there, there's the live mount option to instant power on or live pilot light options. From there, the VMC on AWS has the on-demand failover target, which goes back to the SaaS orchestrator and scale-out file system. We then have the Delta-based failback back to your DRAS connectors. So as you can see, the blue is the steady state operations, and then the purple is activated for tests, failovers, and failbacks. So as you can see, this is a pretty simple on-demand disaster recovery solution, especially since it's the SaaS solution with the cloud economics. It's very simple for our customers to set up. Okay. And then here is some of our newest offerings. So the low RPOs as low as 30 minutes, that is pretty compelling in the market. We're not really seeing that from other competitors yet. The instant VM power on or the pilot light option is very compelling to our customers as well too. They're allowed to replicate to the cloud storage. And then we have these deep snapshots history per VM of up to 2,000 snapshots per protection group. So we say it's the hot DRAS, right? As you can see, we have the low TCO, good RTO and RPO, which is extremely sufficient. And then the best RTO and RPO is the hot DRAS. Okay, so I put this in here. Typically, it's, we don't have to tell you, our partners, how to spot a VCDR opportunity because, usually the customers are going to be the ones bringing it up and that they're saying, I have no disaster recovery plan or it's extremely old and I need to update it. But these are the three that we have been seeing just in terms of industry trends. So replacing existing DR, they want to modernize their environment, optimizing the DR costs, if their current DR solutions is extremely expensive or their code lease is expiring and they don't want to have to renew it. And then the rapid ransomware recovery, they want to protect. So most of our customers are saying they need a fast and reliable way to recover from ransomware when an attack happens without a lengthy evaluation process. Okay, and here's our use cases explained. So the value prop and key differentiators. So when it comes to our solution, if a customer wants to replace an existing DR solution or retire an existing DR site, VCDR is easier to use with a lower TCO and it's highly automated and a cloud-based solution. So there's no need to own, rent, or maintain an on-premise data center for the disaster recovery anymore. The key differentiator for that is that it's an end-to-end SaaS solution with no need for that secondary data center. So they could completely close that secondary data center if they wanted to. And then we have the automated DR health checks and failover, failback test workflows capacity. The second, optimizing DR costs with DRAS to complement current on-prem DRs. So this is extremely cost efficient. It's on-demand DR with a range of SLAs. So there's no need to pay for our highest SLAs for applications that quite honestly just don't require it. So that again comes into our key differentiator of the cloud economics. The on-demand compute is cloud efficient storage. And then again, we have the pilot light option for faster recovery times. And then the third use case, which is our biggest one, is rapid ransomware recovery as part of a holistic business continuity plan. So rapid recovery from ransomware with immutable cloud-based recovery points ranging from hours to months old. And then the key differentiators for that is the multiple immutable copies in the cloud, hours to months, with rapid recovery point experiments with no data rehydration. This no data rehydration is a very compelling one for our customers to see. So when you pitch it to them, make sure you bring that up. Okay, the most important part, right? How partners make money selling VCDR. So first and foremost, I want to reiterate the fact that the way that we transact VCDR is the exact same as VMC on AWS. So if you worked with that before, we're under the same umbrella. So VMware Cloud Disaster Recovery is procured by purchasing generic SPP credits or VMC custom skin credits. From there, the registration follows a standard VMC process that you're already familiar with. And then the payment options include SPP credits, prepay, purchase pay, or monthly pay. Next is the sources of margin. So we have an upfront margin of up to 10%, which we'll walk through, a VMC activation credit of 10.5% MSRP, a technical assessment incentive of up to $15,000 per assessment, a proof of concept POC incentive of up to $25,000, a cloud activation incentive of 15%, and then a partner-to-partner P2P program of up to $15,000 per project. So as you see, there's plenty ways for our partners to make good money selling VCDR, and some of these can be mixed, maxed, and stacked. So, there's a potential for there to be a good payout for our partners. Okay, so the sales motion for partners. I'm not going to walk through this because it's pretty similar to what you've already done before, but I do want to reiterate the fact that it's the partner of record process with the SPP redemption. And then from there is when the activation and consumption growth incentive would be eligible. And I'll make sure to set out this deck afterwards so you can see exactly the sales motion if you need it. This is another slide about the demo and proof of concept options for VMC on AWS, which also flags for VCDR. So the one I wanted to point out is that there is a partner sandbox, which allows you to play around with the solution without having to buy it at the lowest price point. We also have hands-on labs, pilots of Quick Start, and pilots for Accelerate. The important thing there is that pilot for Quick Start and Accelerate are both convertible to production, and you can do 1 to 3 hosts for those as well too. Okay, so again, the help our customers be ready in 5 easy steps. We want you to plan, define, configure, test, and operate. Again, remember, it's day 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the way we do it is day 1, you want to determine the VMs to be protected by VCDR and then organize them into preliminary application DR sets for the protection policy assignment and DR plan steps. Then we want to align the available SLAs and initial retention objectives to be applied after initial snapshot copy to the cloud. And then we want to define and document the on-prem organization of compute resources, folders, networks, and tags that may be used to identify and place VMs in the SDDC. Day 2 is our define. So from there, we want to construct the protected sites that contain the target VMs and includes up to 6 DRAS connectors and 2 to 3 vCenters. We then want to construct a test protection group for small sample VM sets for each protected site to verify the prem cloud operations. We then want to take manual snapshots of protection groups using relative prioritization and data set size to optimize the initial transfer readiness. Day 3 is our configure. So big day, right? We want to deploy the VMware Cloud SDDC site using a 1-host footprint just to minimize the cost and familiarize with the process. We then want to modify the SDDC to the desired configuration to align with the on-premise site, including resources groups and test bubble setups. And we want to define the DR plans using the application organization details from the day 1 of the plan. Day 4 is the testing. So from there, we want to begin the DR plan failover testing using that NFS data store we talked about for initial steps alignment. We will run a DR plan test with full SDDC migration, the storage vMotion, to understand the operational results. And then from there, we would pick a smaller application data set, and then we would adjust the DR plan based on the performance or sizing findings in the testing processes. And then day 5 is operate. We're up and running. So we will review the reports for compliance and plan details, review the runbooks for test runs from day 4. We will monitor progress of on-premise site protection and compliance checking. We will document and remove the SDDC. And then we're ready. Just as easy to maintain the setup with revisions and repeat as the new workloads are included. So we made some assumptions in there just in terms of, GPS link and how much TBs per day. But as you can see, our be ready in 5 easy steps is very compelling for our customers. And then as you can see, target customers, right? So SLED, telco, healthcare, financial, utilities, or if they have new or no existing DR capabilities, or unhappy with their replacing DR platform, or they're looking to augment their existing DR platform. and then bringing everything together. So as you can see, we want to target our customer needs, spot the pain points and opportunities, which typically isn't too hard to understand. We want to engage the customer from there, and then value the delivered to the customer, and then obviously why the customer chooses us. This just all wraps it all together. So really what we want to do is just make sure that our customers have a DR plan in place, especially because ransomware is on the rise lately. Especially if they're not testing that DR plan, we want to make sure that we're understanding their strategy. And then, obviously the value add to the customer with the improved TCO, with lower OpEx, no additional operational or training costs, no VM format conversions, and then continuous DR health checks. Okay, so getting started plan of attack. So what I would like for the partners to do is really to go learn and understand exactly the technical operations of VCDR, because once we can really close the gap on the knowledge of understanding exactly how it fits into the VMware portfolio, it starts selling like hotcakes. So we have lots of resources, especially on the Partner Connect landing page, but we also have a demo video playlist, a technical demonstration, lots of hands-on labs, the tech zone, and then again, dedicated teams for you to reach out to if you need help with certain opportunities and deals. And then a call to action. So what we would like to do is really help you do a demand gen campaign. So the first step would obviously be to go onto the Partner Demand Center and to utilize the demand gen campaign that we have loaded on there. We can then set up a call blitz one if you wanted to. We can do a specific joint webinar with your customers if that's something that you'd be interested in. And then from there, we could track the opportunities to see how things are performing. But what we really want to emphasize here is that we are here to help you. We want to uplift and give you everything you need possible to start selling VCDR to your customers and to make sure that they're getting the whole portfolio from the VMware side of things. And that's all I had. Thank you.
Thank you, Madison.
I'll pass it back to you. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I know we did get a chat from Adam a question in the chat from Adam. For the VMware Cloud Disaster Recovery on Demand draft solution, do you need VMware physical hosts running in the cloud, then spin up the VMs in a DR scenario? Or can you dynamically spin up ESXi hosts and VMs in the cloud as needed on demand?
Yeah, the latter. Any other questions?
And Madison, what locations can you spin up a VCDR at across? Where do they have locations with Amazon Web Services at?
Yeah, it's 16 supported global regions. Honestly, I don't know them off the top of my head. I would have to give you the list, but I can actually include that into the sales deck if you would like for me to, and then we can send that out after. And what's exciting is that our SaaS sandbox, we've actually got approval to stand up the sandbox environment for our partners in APJ and EMEA. So, if there's any global partners out here, or if anyone has reached out to regarding the SaaS sandbox, if they want to be able to play around with it and understand how it fits into a customer's solution, please reach out to me because we can definitely get you onto the Slack bot for that.
Yeah, absolutely. And we got another question. And I'll extend on this one actually too. Is this currently available with Azure, or is there any available with any of the other cloud providers as well, or is this strictly with VMC?
Yeah, it actually plays well with all of them. So it's not just for AWS, it's VMC on Azure, VMC on GCP, etc.
Awesome. Which would you say is the most common that you see with VMware?
Definitely VMC on AWS, just because AWS has the largest market share, just in terms of, the world. For now.
Totally fair. Yeah, good change. Yeah, and how long can you stand up the DR environment? Will there be additional charges if the DR event is prolonged? Good question, Davey.
Yeah, that is a good question. I'm not sure if there is a cap on the amount of time. I'll have to get back to you. But there are additional charges if it is a prolonged event. So I can get that to you as well too. But honestly, that typically doesn't ever happen, at least from what I've seen. So there are always one-offs. Let me get that answer for you, and I will include it in my deck when I send it out as well.
Absolutely. And Alfonso, to retouch on that, the solution can be on AWS or Google Cloud as well.
Yeah, it can be on VMC on AWS, it can be on VMC on Google, any of those. But no, it has to be included in one of those sales. Now, if they already have an existing environment, then you can just do an add-on with that. No need to go stand up another environment.
Absolutely, guys, and this kind of fits into the journey of being the new journey of multi-cloud. Of having different clouds for different workloads. So have your backup in VMC, run production workloads in Azure, and have Google Cloud running something else. So that fits right into that journey. It's just another piece of that puzzle as organizations take on multi-cloud. We're slowly moving there as time goes on. It's mainly seen primarily in the enterprise space, but commercial customers are now starting to adapt that multi-cloud journey as well. So don't think just because they're a smaller shop that they're not qualified for this, as it is cost effective and is a quick value realized as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And I can also include a couple of our customer success wins from different partners that we've had, or just customers that have implemented the solution that have seen just great results from it. I didn't include those on the slide here, but we do have some good customer wins that are exciting for us to reflect. And then it also shows the migration and how it plays with other solutions too, so I can include those.
Absolutely, Madison. Do we have any other questions with the 5 minutes remaining? We had an active chat today, and I really appreciate the engagement. This is one of our more popular offerings, it seems like. Thank goodness we work in the business of software, because it would not stay on the shelf if it was an actual physical product. So very happy and appreciate you guys for your interest in this one.
Yeah, and I just wanted to bring up one extra thing. So I know I touched on VMware Carbon Black that works with VCDR. So just so everyone's aware, VMware Carbon Black's cloud native endpoint protection platform combines, the intelligent system of behavioral prevention. And then we have the cloud native endpoint protection from there. So, that plays very well together for rapid ransomware recovery for our customers. And we're actually going to have a velocity play that we send out soon that's going to be a value add for our partners. It's going to be a pretty good promotion. So when that goes live, I will make sure to send that out to you, Jared, to send to everyone else, because that velocity play is going to be a pretty good, have good partner incentives and benefits in it.
Absolutely. Well, that just about wraps up this week's edition of Top Gun Tuesday. Again, appreciate everybody hopping on. Send this invite out to anyone in your organization. We are our partner. Send it to all our partners. It's open to everyone as long as you're at a VMware certified reseller. We're happy to cater to them. Without further ado, we'll see you guys next week to talk a little bit more about Tanzu. Take care, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.